我每一次去新的国家，想要给一个关于安全的介绍，然后已经在惠灵顿了4个礼拜了，快4个礼拜了。我觉得这个位置还蛮适合，因为我后面这里你会看到一个钢琴，然后就是有人随便放一个钢琴在海边旁边，然后今天很多人礼拜六，大家都随便来啊，自己打，也没有人要打破，也没有人要偷，它就是这样子。我觉得这个还蛮适合惠灵顿的安全。So every time at the end of a trip I do a little safety clip, and it's time to do a safety clip on Wellington, and I have found the perfect spot for it. Right behind me there's a lady playing a piano. It's not her piano, it's just a random piano that's been put on the waterside walkway, and random people are coming up and playing tunes on this piano. Nobody's trying to vandalize it, nobody's trying to steal the piano. It's just there, and people are coming up and playing like really good music on it. That is quite the essence, I think, of Wellington. When it comes to safety, I'm going to jump into the most serious topic at hand: personal safety and violent crimes. As far as I can tell from being here and all the research I've done, violent crimes are very uncommon in Wellington. I had to go online and search for anything related to this category, and all I found was an online forum where participants selected personal safety and violent crimes as a very low risk factor in Wellington. I also made a trip to the local police station, and they basically told me the same thing. According to that same police station, even pocket picking is something they don't really deal with very often. The only thing they did mention might happen on rare occasions would be crimes of opportunity, as in you leave your bag unattended, you leave money on the table, stuff like that. That being said, I did visit some friends here, and none of them even locked their cars when they put their cars in public parking spaces, so I think even those crimes of opportunity might be a bit less than what people think. That being said, it's always a good idea not to tempt fate, so don't leave your stuff unattended. Traffic accidents and pedestrians getting injured in traffic-related accidents are probably more common occurrence in Wellington than theft. And people drive pretty fast in Wellington, so be very careful when you drive or walk around the streets. And do not jaywalk. Remember, people drive on the left side of the road here, so look both ways before you cross the street. If you do decide to drive or take a taxi, remember that all the people in the vehicle must wear their seatbelts by law. And one other thing that applies to smokers when it comes to driving: if you are a smoker, you are not allowed to smoke in your vehicle if you have small children in the car with you. There are very heavy fines if you're caught doing that. I was staying in downtown Wellington, and I did notice some homeless people. They do beg for money, but they don't really seem to bother anyone. The Wellington police encourage people to rather give them food instead of money. But Wellington does have a very well-established homeless shelter, as well as food banks for homeless people in Wellington. Speaking of money, I made some very interesting discoveries regarding money in New Zealand. First of all, you cannot fold the money. It's made from some kind of polymer plastic type material. And interesting enough, most people in New Zealand don't even use cash. They all pay by card. There is a wireless card reader that they refer to as the EFT POS, which is the brand name of a specific system that they use for these card payments like credit cards and debit cards. And this is for sure the preferred payment or the preferred payment method in Wellington. They even have this option available in the street markets in Wellington. Which begs the question, what do they use cash or banknotes for? Well, I found a very interesting article. In 2016, banknotes from Auckland supermarkets and corner stores, bakeries, takeaway bars were all collected at random, and then they were all sent to a methamphetamine testing laboratory. Every single note that they collected tested positive to the drug. with some samples showing 100% contamination. Meth is, of course, a Class A drug in New Zealand, and if you are caught with it in any way, shape, or form, you will get the maximum punishment under the law, which is life imprisonment. Actually, when it comes to drugs, most drugs, even some prescription medicines, are illegal in New Zealand. They have a very strict customs and immigrations, and if you are caught with anything like that, you are going to be in a whole lot of trouble. Do watch the video I did on New Zealand's strict immigration policies, the do's and don'ts in terms of what you can and cannot bring into the country before you pack your bags. Another point sort of relating with the money topic is tipping. In New Zealand, it is not compulsory to tip. You can tip if you've had good service at a restaurant, unless you visit a strip club. Now, if you visit a strip club in Wellington, it's kind of expected that you tip, and if you don't tip, you may be asked to leave. Okay, from strip clubs, I may as well jump to prostitution. Although prostitution is legal in New Zealand, there are elements of the industry which is still sometimes caught up with crime and illegal drugs. It is in your best interest not to take any substance offered to you by strangers, which, I mean, it applies not only to Wellington but also New Zealand and for the rest of the world. On the flip side, there is little evidence that there is much crime amongst prostitution in Wellington. In other words, even with a street worker, you're very unlikely to get robbed or hurt. And brothels in Wellington are even safer, as they have strict safety policies because they rely on being a reputable establishment. And as usual, if you're interested to learn more about this, have a look at the video I did on alcohol, drugs, and prostitution laws in New Zealand. On a more positive note, even though they are quite strict on drugs, they are just as strict when it comes to produce and animal welfare, which is something I care about. Everywhere you go, you will find lots of free-range product options and produce. The products, and there's lots of products that have been certified with an animal welfare certification, and it's really great to see all the incentives to treat animals humanely in New Zealand and in Wellington, especially when it comes to those little animals that become our food.